Hello friends, this is Ritesh here. I'm back with a new video. Um, here, today's topic, I'm going to talk about constructor over here. Um, Firstly, I'll tell you what is constructor. I'll just write some notes over here, some points over here, so that you can get a good idea while typing that program for constructor. What is constructor? I'll just define over here. I'll just write constructor as nothing but a function. So you know what is function. So uh, you'll get an idea. Constructor is nothing but a function. It is a function, but there are some constraints. It does not have return type. You know, function have some return type, like you write void main. So void is the return type. Main is the name. So that way, that void or int or double, whatever is that we don't define in constructor. Third point is its name, or I'll just write over here constructor name is same as class name. Constructor name is same as class name. Like you created a function called void display void set data. So your name was set data display that, but here in constructor compulsorily your name of your constructor will be same as class name. Its function it will not have return type, and its name is also same as class name. Why we use this constructor? Constructor is used to initialize the global variables. Mostly it is used to initialize global variables. Like you can do any printing part also in that, but the major use of constructor is this only. It is used to initialize global variables. Okay. Oh, there are some types of constructor. That types I'll mention over here. First is default constructor. Second is non-parameterized, and third is parameterized. Okay, I'll just explain you what is this default. Default means whenever you don't create constructor, there is one default constructor in your C++ program is created. So that we call as default constructor. What is non-parameterized constructor? This is something that we create. Now, in look wise, this both constructor look same, default and non-parameterized, because default constructor is also not having any parameter. Also, non-parameterized constructor is not having any parameters in this parameter list. But parameterized will have some parameter list. It's not fixed. You can have any number of parameters in that. So that is parameterized. Let's see. Let's start with the program. Hash include iostream knowledge. Hash include onio.h. Okay. Then here I'll write class sample. Then inside over here, and the same I'll take two variables, global variables. Then I'll create my constructor first over here. It's not compulsory that one constructor has to be created first, but as we are doing constructor topic, that's the reason I'm just doing creating from constructor first over here. So what I will do is, as per the aforementioned features, I will go. Constructor is nothing but a function. That means constructor is function. You know, function is defined like this. It doesn't have any return type, so you don't have to specify return type. Constructor name is same as class name, so my class name is sample, so let's say sample. So it's function, so function has body, that way I have created body. What is the use of constructor? Constructor is used to initialize the global variables. So my global variables are a. I initialize some value to my a, and another variable is b. So that's cool. So you got this. So this is basically a non-parameterized constructor, correct? Because you can see I don't have any parameters in this bracket. Fine. I'll create one function to display my values. So this way, I'll write over here cout a equal to a. One more, I'll take here v display. This display is done. So let's see. Here I'll create my main function. Oh, sorry. Here I'll write clear screen. Let's see it here inside. Now, how to use this constructor? Like basically, when we want to use that display function, we are calling like ob.display. But what about sample? So one point I skipped over here. One point I'll write here. Constructor is invoked. Sorry, automatically when the object is created. So constructor is invoked automatically when the object is created. That means we don't need to call constructor anytime. So let's see, when I create object, you know how to create objects. So I'll write sample ob. So this way I'm creating object. So that means when I write this statement at this time, this constructor, the highlighted part, this constructor is invoked when I'm writing this line. Here I am creating object. So I'll just write ob dot display. Okay, check. So that means I have created one object ob. In that object, my constructor is invoked automatically, and my a and b variable of ob got 4 and 6 value. Correct. I'll just compare this, and if I run this, I'll get this values 4 and 6. That means this constructor, when the object is created, the constructor invoked automatically, and this constructor did what? They gave value to a and b variable, and when we displayed those value, we got 4 and 6. That is the concept. So next, one more thing in this. If you still have doubt when the constructor is invoked, I'll just mention over here in constructor one SOP and then, oh sorry, cout. I'll just mention over here constructor invoked. So, what do you think? When I'm creating this object, don't you think if I say this object is created, then this constructor is invoked? As I said, that means this cout line should also be displayed. So let's see. So you can see constructor invoked. We will prove this little more. Like I'll write one cout statement. I'll write here I am creating my object. So if I say um, my first output should be here, I am creating my object. Then the object is created. That means the next output should be constructor invoked. And the next over here I'll write I am back to the main function. So this will prove my program. Let's see. If I run this, you can see here I am creating my object. It's inside main. When the object is created, we got an output constructor invoked, and just after that object creation, we have given one statement. I am back to the main function. I hope you understood what I'm trying to say. So this is the one way. Uh, this is pretty much clear to you guys how we are using non-parameterized constructor. Something I said about default constructor over here, I spoke to you that default and non-parameterized constructor are same. How it is same? If you remember in my previous programs, I never used to create this constructor. I just commented this one, but still I used to create my objects of class. So as I said, whenever the object is created, constructor is invoked automatically. Then when I created this object, where was my constructor in my previous program? I didn't created it, correct? So at that time my default constructor was invoked. My default constructor will help to initialize the default values to my global variables, whatever I am using. So default constructor helped me to initialize default value as 0 0. But here I have created my own constructor. That's the reason it is calling my own constructor. So that is the scenario over here. So that's why. So you can see if I commented out this part, what output I'll get with this. Oh, I got some garbage value. Next, I'm going to talk about parameterized constructor in the same here. I'll do some changes. Parameterized means here this is my parameter list. So what I am going to do, I'll set some parameters, means I'll ask some values from the object, and those values only I am going to initialize to my constructor. So you already clear idea about how the constructor is work. So I am just removing this line from here. Even I'll just remove these lines. Uh, okay, this is removed. Even this I'll just remove from here. Cool. uh, this is my problem. So now what I am doing is I am trying to create a parameterized constructor. So what I'll do, I'll just pass some parameters in my constructor. So I'll write int x int y. So these are two parameters in my constructor. Here when I am getting some value to that constructor, so x is getting some value, so it's like some values is passed, that has been passed to x. So that x value I'm going to pass to a, and y's value I'm going to pass to b. So basically I told you constructor is invoked when the object is created. So here my object is created in this part. So how to work? So here when I am creating object, I will pass two values over here, 4 comma 5, and when I pass this value 4 comma 5 in my object, that means this 4 and 5 has been passed to this sample x and y, and x is taking 4, your y is taking 5, and that means x is given to a and y is given to b. And when you try to display that, you should, okay, just compile and see. You'll get 4 and 5 displayed. Yeah, you pass 4 and 5 to a and b, so that way you're getting displayed as 4 and 5. Okay, one more clarification in this, we can use multiple constructors in our class. Like I can create one more constructor over here, sample, let's say non-parameterized constructor. So here I will write, I'll give some my default value, I'll say 10, b equal to 20. So I created the same, but the values are different. So now what I can do is, like, if I am not interested to pass some values, I will not pass. That means when you create this kind of objects, that means you are trying to use non-parameterized constructor. And if you pass some values in this, like 4 comma 5, that means you are invoking that second constructor, I mean this constructor. And if you are not passing any parameter, that means you are invoking this constructor. So let's see, if I don't pass anything inside this, are you getting any error? No. Run this, you'll get 10 and 20. Good. uh, this is the way that we use constructors. One thing, just for your understanding, when we use multiple constructor in our class, that time we say it's constructor overloading. One more constructor I will create for you. I'll write sample, I'll write int x, and here what I will do is a equal to x and b equal to x. Now you can think, what if I want to pass one value to my constructor? If I pass one value, that means, let's see, run this, I'll get one valued parameterized constructors output. So this is the way. Next, this is quite clear. That's it. This is for this video. Let's see, I'll meet you in the next video for the next topic and plan for you. But till then, bye bye.